This is Trash Talk with your host, Garrett the Trash Man.
What is up, everybody? I'm your host, Garrett the Trash Man. You're listening to Trash Talk. John Batman Ballad, what's going on, man?
Just another day in paradise.
Rainy paradise.
That
rainy,
is true.
muddy. I don't know if you can see on the video my mud. I was out rolling around in the mud today already.
It's a good day when you get to roll in the mud.
I'm sure many more to come today. Many more to come. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thank our sponsor, Larson Waste, sponsoring this podcast. Hit them up. We are the hassle-free trash company. So sign up today.
Best in the world.
John knows. Orbiter of all knowledge. Mr. John here knows. Yeah, so dude, let's roll into the rants because I'm tired. Having a tough time focusing here. Clearly can't talk.
We got to get in the zone.
John, what you got to rant about today? You said you were ready. Just, it's teed up now. Rant away. Cool shoes.
Thank you. They're comfy too. So my rant today is about being realistic. Now I am all about thinking big, setting big goals, and really trying to do the most you can in life. Like I'm all about that, but also I think you also need to give yourself a heavy dose of being realistic at times. Because, for example, if you're just getting started in business and you say, okay, I have zero business experience and I've never run a company and I'm going into a new industry, but I want to build, say, a $100 million company in 2 years. Guess what? I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's probably not going to happen that quickly. It's absolutely possible. Like anybody can do that if they put forth the time and effort and do things correctly. But like you can't just go from here to the top of the mountain, the metaphorical mountain, in the blink of an eye. And so that's kind of mine.
One where I think people miss like the realism boat, in my opinion. Like if you're gonna do that, great. Like I'm sure someone's done it before. Like get after it. But I think people miss the realism boat at is what it's gonna take to do that. So they're like, yeah, I'm gonna build a $100 million company, and then their actions are like take weekends off, work 5 or 6, maybe 8 hours a day. It's like, yeah, that's like you need to be realistic with that. That's where I see the huge disconnect. Because if someone's really got the gall and the commitment to make that happen, like,
oh, it's absolutely possible.
Probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many people will talk about, yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm going to make this $100 million company. I'm going to do this. And I also want my weekends off. I quit work at 5, totally shut it off. This, that, and the other. I don't do this that I don't like. I won't do that I don't like. And it's like, hey.
And yoga class on Wednesdays.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like, man, just recognize the cost of all that stuff and recognize what that stuff will produce. You can't just speak it out like that whole secret book and stuff. You can't just speak it out to the universe and then it shows up. Like, you gotta speak it out and then be in action around it and do it. And so, yeah.
I think a lot of part of that is also being like honest and upfront with yourself of like, okay, if I want to accomplish X, this is what I got to do to accomplish X.
Well, most people, in my experience, don't get clear enough of what they actually want.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I want a $100 million company because who wouldn't want to have, all the money that they could spend? But they're not really clear on exactly what they want out of life or what they want their life to look like. Because I think a lot of times we'll go down the road too far where it's like most people don't need millions of dollars to be happy.
Yeah.
Most people, if they can get their bills paid, have a couple vacations a year, like they're totally happy. It's like, sweet, well, join the softball team and the basketball team and do all that and take your leisure time like crazy and you can accomplish that. And so, yeah, I think most people would be served tremendously if they'd slow down, get really clear on what they'd want, and then be powerful in that. Because I think lots of people will just look and be envious of the really rich, and so won't be happy in their life, even though if they really took stock there, they would be totally happy because they're not willing to put forth that effort.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely.
I love that. It's a good rant for today.
I like it.
Kind of ties into our topic of the podcast as well.
Okay.
But first, for my rant, I've got a story. Because
this is gonna be good, guys.
Because my groin is not feeling too hot. So yesterday,
He is gonna explain that, by the way.
Yesterday, I'm running around, and I get a call from a buddy. He's like, "Hey, I'm wiring some stuff up for my mom. Can you come give me a hand?" And one thing I came to realize, if you're strong, you get called all the time to move stuff. And if you're small, you get called all the time to fit into places that most people can't fit into. And if you're small and strong, you get called for all the shitty jobs.
It's so true.
You really do.
I love it.
So anyway, but like, yeah, I'm totally happy that this buddy helps me all the time. Like, didn't even think of it. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll be over there. I've got to run in and buy a pickup, so I'll just stop by on my way there. He's like, yeah, like 10-minute thing, be real quick. Cool. So I hop up in the attic. He's poking the wire through. I'm supposed to drag it through the other side. And they've got that blow-in insulation, you know.
Oh.
And so you've got the rafters running. And then you put certain boards in certain areas going along the rafters so you can walk. But the blown insulation hides it most of the time. You can't really see where you're stepping.
Oh, yeah.
So it's real careful.
Been on my fair share of those.
Yep. And so I find this board. And, you know, I'm walking along this board. 1 foot right in front of the other going. And then between two of the rafters, the board stopped at the front, and they just skipped that rafter with putting the board across. And so I stepped right there and just boom, right through the roof, dude. Scratched my whole groin up all the way. It's pretty gnarly, but don't worry, my freaking right ball cushioned my fall. So freaking just straight fall through the roof, and I'm just laying there. And I'm like, oh, it's a good thing I already have 2 kids, because I don't think I can reproduce anymore. And dude, legitimately, it took down like half the freaking ceiling.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I've been working up in my house. It's the same setup, and I was pulling some conduit wire through, and I got too far forward, and I fell down on a knee and poked a knee through it. But it was like just that area, a little patch. I'm not joking. Literally half the room just boom, collapse, insulation everywhere, and I'm just like, oh, this hurts so bad, and just the room's a freaking mess. And I'm like, dude, this 10-minute job just turned into like probably a 12-hour project of us gonna have to clean this up, put it back up, drywall, tape, freaking texture, paint.
No fun.
Yeah, no fun. But yeah, I got a nice little scratch all the way up my groin. It's turning nice and purple.
Now you can walk around and say, my leg!
my leg! Oh, I have been, dude. I was all wobbling up to my house last night, and I just drove a garbage truck for about 2 hours. And I'm like waddling up, and my wife comes to the door because it was about 10, so she already had it locked up. So I call her, hey, can you come open the door? And she opens it and watches me walk up. She's like, what the heck's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, it's just sitting in the garbage truck, and I fell through a roof. She's like, what?
No big deal.
Yeah,
another day in paradise.
Go in there, drop my drawers, just blood all over the underwear, just a mess. I'm like, oh. But,
well, I'm sure that was fun cleaning up too.
yeah, I actually kind of bounced on my buddy. I felt bad because I'm like, dude, I got this appointment with this guy to buy this truck. I've got to go take care of that. And I bounced, bought the truck, and then I was like, all right, what do we got to do? And then we had a situation come up where I had to go get garbage truck. I'm like, sorry to leave you hanging, man. I'll help you tomorrow. And then we've been talking today, and we're gonna go get the drywall, but it's pretty rainy here, so I don't know. We might have to get that job going a little bit later this week, but. Yeah, I'll tell you what though. You know what? He and I were talking about it while we're doing it, and we're like, you know what? This is why the trades cost so much.
Yeah. Because
one little slit in a project, like seriously, one could cost twice as much, huge hassle, or two, to trades you're just at risk so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For anything, whether it costs a ton more or whether it's just a lot bigger headache than you thought it was going to be. Like, I don't think people understand that. They're like, well, plumbers cost this much, or electricians cost this much. It's like one misstep, and your whole roof is coming down. So they've got to make sure that they cover for the one time out of 50 that happens.
Yep.
they've got to be able to cover that with all the other jobs. So
Oh yeah.
it happens the same way with our trash trucks.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, we get one wreck, we hit one mailbox. Like, that whole street isn't profitable for like 3 years.
Yep.
So, anyway, yeah, not really any lessons in there. Just a funny story of me freaking wrecking myself.
Hey, if you're putting boards in an attic, make sure you run them all the way through so that you don't fall through the gap.
Connect them all. Yeah, I don't know. I've loved the blow-in insulation. Like, it keeps my house super warm. But I don't know if I'll ever do it again because it's been a headache in my house. And then I fell through the roof of my buddy's house. And I'm like, I think I'll just roll it in from now on underneath and just keep it all where I can see everything. But also, you get in the corners, you know, where the roof meets the wall. And you're freaking face deep in the insulation down here. And you got like a nail sticking in your head right here. And you're like pulling wire. You're like, this isn't fun. Can't breathe. Yeah, just appreciate tradesmen.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess that's one thing, and that's, you know, I always recommend people do stuff like that though, because we are a long ways away from like AI or machine being able to do that. Like, like machine just can't like crawl in the corner and like pull that through and stuff like that. So plumbers, electricians, you know, I think lawyers and other things like that are going to be replaced by AI and stuff like that before them. So, and less people are willing to get into it. So, I imagine when my son's grown, an electrician is like the lawyer that's making $500 plus a year.
Oh, it's already that way.
Oh, it's trending that way.
Oh yeah. In some of like, I've heard of people back east that are already making lawyers and doctors' wages doing trades work because there's such a shortage.
Yeah, there's just not the people willing to do it. So screw college, go to trade school, get paid while you're learning, and make that money. Keep them calluses on your hands. So, yeah. All right, dude. So the topic for today that we want to talk on, did you say 19th is National Quit Day?
I believe it's, the 19th.
So we want to talk how we're doing, where we're at, and we talked to Tyler a little bit. He said he's doing great, uses an app to keep him in line with his habits that he wants to keep going. So, dude, I'll tee it up for you, man. How's it going for you? What's going on with this new year? Have you quit some stuff, or where you at?
Yeah, I've I don't think I have a ton of new habits really to implement this year. I'm just increasing what I do in those habits.
Yeah.
And so, or just kind of taking it to the next step. And so, for the most part, I've been doing really good. With physically, with my physical goals, I'm on track. With my self-development, I've been doing that real good. I've been reading a really good book, man. If you guys want a good read The Lincoln Hypothesis by Tim Ballard.
That is a great book.
I have no idea if we're related. And so, really, it's just kind of taking my already kind of made ritual and kind of taking it to the next step of what I want to accomplish. And so that's really, there's not a whole lot of new stuff that I'm doing right now from what I did last year. It's just increased.
Yeah.
Or tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
One that I have is that we have implemented with my wife is twice a month. We go do something just us, you know. It's like a date night, and then like maybe we'll just take a few hours off in the afternoon and go get lunch or something and visit for a little while or something. So twice a month we try to do that.
I gotta get that date night going again, dude. Freaking the new babies, they make it rough if you've got a breastfeeding mama.
Oh yeah, we know all about that too. So
we were working on the bottle the other night.
No go.
Wasn't too happy about
Yeah.
it. We'll keep working on it, but she
yeah.
was like, "What in the Sam hell is this bull crap? Freaking get this out of here, Dad! You don't feed me, Mom. Get over here." Wait, it'll be so much better. No, she was not happy. Kept choking on it. And stuff.
She said, "Oh, that's what I think of that idea."
I'm like, it's the same milk, girl. Come on. Anyway.
Our kids are the same way. They don't really like a bottle.
So tell me, do you do a vision board or anything like that? What do you do to keep the stuff that you've set up to have a different creative future than you've had in the past? What do you do to keep that present for you?
I wrote up everything and I put it in subjects of what I like. So I have physical, relationships, spiritual, business goals, and I think just like random or something like that. I think I've got 4 or 5, and I typed it all up and I keep it on my nightstand. And every night I read it. I try and look at it in the morning, but most of the time I'm the type that likes to get up and get going, so I don't typically read in the morning. Sometimes I do, but I try and read them every day and just remember, okay, this is what I'm working on, and then I just try to stay in my groove of what I'm doing. And so I don't really have a vision board. Now, for business stuff I do, and we have it all written on I need to get a bigger whiteboard. It's like, yay big, so definitely need to get a bigger whiteboard. Need to work on that. But no, I more so like to write them down and then just review them often.
Yeah.
Is what I do.
Sweet.
My wife's a big vision board person. She's got her vision board, but I don't know. That just doesn't click with me for some reason.
You just build the freaking system that works for you. I don't think there's any right or wrong way, but whatever works for you. So, like, as I'm thinking of mine, so I had it on a big, those big sticky notes. I use a lot of those around here, and listed a ton of stuff off. And I haven't fell off the wagon with anything, but my time's getting short because a lot of what I did was similar to kind of what you both did. What I did is I look at my hierarchy of commitments, the 5 things that I'm committed to in my life. That's myself, the relationship with Tasha, committed to her living a happy and a fulfilled life and living life on purpose. I'm committed to relationships with family and friends, and I'm committed to building wealth for my family. And so I took those things and I said, okay, let's structure my life around serving those things. Because if this is really what I'm committed to, like, that's what my world should revolve around and be on purpose for those things. And so a lot of it's like, once a month I'm gonna take a day where it's like committed special time for me and Titan to be just me and him and spend some time together. And sometimes that might look like rolling to the zoo, and other times that might look like hitting up freaking McDonald's play place for a while, And it just is listed off on that. So where I'm at is it's incredible to me how fast time goes.
Oh.
So like I've got certain things too where I've committed to myself to do a little bit more play things. I love what I do in business, but I believe variety will enrich my life. And so I'm like, I need to spend some committed time of going snowboarding and this, that, or taking time to go mountain biking or something like that, and commit an hour or so a month to actually go have a little bit more variety in my life, or a day. So I haven't fallen off the wagon, but I know like I'm going to do a certain amount of things like that each month and some of it each week. And with how fast time is flying,
oh my gosh,
I'm like, we're already almost done with January, and I'm like, holy cow! Like I've got all these things I still want to do to keep on track each month doing it. And the month's almost dwindled away. So I haven't fallen off the wagon, but I've got to stay on those, because the daily stuff, a lot of that stuff stayed the same for me. Similar. It's like, and maybe just I looked to improve it, and I've been experiencing that. It's been years since probably since I was 12, I haven't gone a week without working out. I've gone days where I maybe haven't, but probably even 3 days consistently. It's probably been since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so, don't have a problem with consistency, but how I was bringing myself, I looked to improve that. And so that's been going good. So I think a question that maybe we could imagine that someone's listening might ask is, well, if I have fallen off, or how do I get back on track if I've just got caught up in being busy and lost it? And my thought is, don't judge yourself too hard and just get back to it. I think there's a lot of people wait for right timing in a lot of things, and whether that's the first of the month, the first of the week, people do it at the first of the year all the time, and don't wait for those hard resets. If there's something you don't like, decide to change it then and be in action around it. Don't wait for the right time. You've got to have this discussion or that. Screw that. That's all excuses. Just get down to it. Say, I'm going to recommit myself. Relook at it. I think it's important to slow yourself down and say, okay, am I really committed to this? Is that why it didn't go away? Do I really want this? Because you may sit and go, I experienced that and realized I didn't really want that. So, it doesn't serve me, and move on. So
no, I can agree with that because, there's been countless times where I didn't follow through with a commitment with myself, and you can always dwell in the past and wish that you hadn't done something or that you would have done better, but really it boils down to what are you going to do in the future. Like the past really doesn't matter. Like learn from it, move on.
Yeah,
it really is just that simple.
Yeah,
and I think don't overcomplicate it.
And I think I shared this before, but like the past is even hard to like learn from it. I love what you said, learn from it and move on, and be so careful when you're learning from it to not get too caught up in that.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea what the outcome would be. Like it was funny as I fell through the roof and it took extra time. I'm like, dude, we have no idea. Maybe if I wouldn't have freaking fell through the roof, I would have left a little bit earlier and it would have been timing just right for something bad to happen. You just don't know. So it's like, don't spend time judging because there's endless possibilities. And so look, learn, move on.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Another thing that has helped me is also putting objectives or goals or whatever you want to call them that aren't for the year. So, like, I have certain things that, like, by the end of this month I want to have done, and then things by halfway through the year I want to have done, because, like, if everything's for the year, that's like, oh, man, I'm never going to accomplish it. Like, I have to wait till the end of the year to accomplish something?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of retarded. And so I've liked putting things that, like, I can accomplish throughout the year to keep my momentum going, I feel like.
I love that, dude, because, and even if it's a big one, you have the mile markers or whatever to break it down. I think that's worthwhile because, it can get, if all you're focused on is way down the road, that can be discouraging. So, I love that, dude. Well, I think that's a wrap. You got anything else to add?
Nope. Just get her done.
Freaking give us a 5-star review. Give Larson Waste a 5-star review on Yelp, Google, Facebook, everything. Just go give everyone 5-star reviews on everything today. Just go do that. That'd be cool. And appreciate you guys listening. If you have fallen off the bandwagon, just hop right back on. Get after it.
Get her done.
Peace.